Welcome back to the Dallas Meetup Dime, where we get straight to the value in 10 minutes or less. I'm your host, Carson Gibbons, and today I'm joined by the CEO of Health Wildcatters, Mr. Hubert Zajicek. Hubert, how are you?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming in. You're a busy man. It's good to get your time.
Thank you. Well, it's a pleasure to be here.
Tell us about who you are. Start us before Health Wildcatters even. Who are you professionally?
Well, I'm a physician by training from Austria, and came here to do a postdoc. So I worked at UT Southwestern in a research lab. So got an MBA at SMU, and then have now spent the last 20 years with healthcare startups. So first a few years in Frisco, working with medical technology firms, and then the last 13 years as a co-founder and CEO of Health Wildcatters.
And what was the impetus to go to SMU Business School after the kind of medical background? What was the shift there in your own personal life?
Yeah, I mean, the first shift really is my decision to stay in research. So originally I thought I'd practice medicine. Came to the US, started my USMLEs, which is the accreditation. And I liked research. I stayed in research and joined the faculty, all that stuff. And but then I wanted to know, at that age, you're just looking down the road for 20, 30 years, what do you want to do? And the MBA seemed like a great way to kind of explore what other options, if not the default, which would have been either research or practicing medicine.
And how did you get involved with that early stage side of things? Because an MBA doesn't necessarily translate to early stage incubation and acceleration, but you're very much known for that as like the health biotech industry leader here in town.
Yeah, SMU gets the credit. Their entrepreneurship was one area of potential, like I could check that out. And I started getting involved with the business plan competition there and participated both years, actually. It was a 1.5 year program. In the business plan competition, spun up something. I caught the bug. I thought that's really cool. What else can you do? I started volunteering at this incubator in Frisco that was just starting, and became an advisor there, helped them out. And when the time was right and I was ready to make a move, then I joined that incubator accelerator in Frisco.
What was the business plan that you cut your teeth on that kind of whet your appetite?
Oh, geez. It was not medical.
Really?
Yeah. One of them was, it's still valid things. One of them was, I don't know if you know about the county courthouse steps at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays where,
no.
Okay, so if you go into foreclosure, every state and every region has different rules on when property gets sold for tax liens. So every state's all different, every state calls it something, everyone has different rules. But basically, at the time, we're talking over 20 years ago, you couldn't be in two places at once, because on I think the first Tuesday of the month at 10 a.m. on the county courthouse steps is when these parcels were going to be auctioned. So if you're in that business, wouldn't it be nice if you bring this online? And so we proposed to do that, to create a marketplace for that. Now those things do exist now. And of course the counties have caught on to, we want to get more value for, first of all, the people that defaulted, fair enough. Let's not just get our tax, let's at least help them out. Anyway, that was it. That was one of them. And
how did that rank in the competition?
Oh, we got second place.
Oh, wow, okay.
And the second time we also got second place. I know the people that beat us still think ours was better.
That's so funny. It's still fueling Health Wildcatters to this day.
it was a lot of fun, and the energy and pitching and working on something like that, and the late hours we put into it. It was fun. It's kind of comical that both of them were not healthcare related, but doesn't matter.
What was the second one? I gotta know.
The second one was somewhat totally different, but it had to do with the fact that the used car sales process is also opaque, especially if you're in a loan or you need a loan. You pretty much have to go to a dealer. And so why not bring that together in a place where you can make a transaction with another private buyer? Both get better value, there's no cut taken out, and then have certain services on site, like somebody can get you out of the loan or into a loan and have ancillary services, but not be an actual deal. It's just a facilitator. Again, I think still a good idea. We still haven't
market.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's so fascinating that neither were the healthcare related concepts. So did you have a go-to-market that was like healthcare or medical oriented prior to starting Health Wildcatters?
No, I mean, I just volunteered at that incubator and then fell into that, and there I just kind of learned what it means to work with healthcare startups. That is my language, so I understand. Learned a little bit of the business language at SMU, and of course, the medical pieces I understood, and then on the Health Wildcatters side, really, my partners were looking for a way to help earlier stage startups that they couldn't invest, they weren't ready to be invested in. How could we help them, or how could there be a business model around that?
What was the gap that you saw high level in the market during your time at the Frisco incubator that made you think, oh, I could go out and start something like this and excel and thrive?
So my partners should get credit for that. Green Park and Golf Ventures, Carl Soderstrom and Clay Heighton had started a family office, and we're starting to make private investments together with others after a large exit. And they realized that they were getting contacted by a lot of startups that just weren't ready yet for angel investment or early VC investments. And so they were thinking, well, what is it we could do for them? Because yes, we can give you a little bit of capital, but that ain't going to help you. You need help. You need people, you need connections, and we have no way to do that for everyone. And so they explored various models of how this can be done, and of course honed in on accelerators. At the time, there really weren't many that were healthcare only. Very few emerging models. So obviously Techstars was around for general stuff. And so that's how this emerged as a opportunity to do something healthcare focused and then get investors together, because we're backed by private angel investors, to invest in a small fund that then invests in 10 startups every year.
How has the Health Wildcatters offer to startups evolved over these cohorts? Like, give me all the nuts and bolts on Health Wildcatters in terms of how many batches, how many companies per batch, what it looks like, the resources they get access to.
Yeah, so we take on average 10 startups a year, so 130 now in year 13. We're interviewing the next 10 to join us. We received almost 600 applications for this year. So there's a process by which we obviously get this down to a small number and ultimately to 10. We make a small investment in them, but the bigger value and the growing value from Health Wildcatters comes from our network, our connections, our relationships. And it's a combination of hopefully people saying good things about us. And number two, staying on mission. We're here to serve these startups, to help them by any means we know. And our reach is much, much larger than, in year one, where people took a chance on us because we had no track record. Now 130 startups that have raised almost $400 million, and exits, and all the good stuff that happens. We have about 20 national and international conferences that we partner with. We run our own events. I mean, there's just a lot of things that a combination of staying on mission and then having been around for a while creates a funnel of people that say, well, if we have to choose where we go, people saying good things about this shop, and hopefully...
I mean, you're the de facto longest running, it feels like, in this market at this point for that vertical especially, maybe at all.
Yeah, we're definitely, with the same business model, probably the only one, but I don't know. There's other good shops in other cities and countries, and I couldn't tell you about
other
all
cities
of them.
and countries, sure. Of the 130, I don't know if I can ask this question, but how many are live today?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's like a pyramid, right? And you start with, if you invert that, so you have, and alive is also a good question, because there's alive and acquired, there's alive and exited. But in essence, we have probably, in the first cohorts, you would have pretty good separation. There's that many are still operating, the majority are not, whether for good reasons or for bad reasons. And as you get to the latest cohort, of course, all from last year operating, all from prior year operating, and then you start like, okay, one got acquired, and then one failed, and so that's kind of how that works. If you if you look at it from that aspect, you would get down to cohort 1, which probably has 3 startups alive and ticking, and all the way to now.
That's great. 30%.
Yeah, that's great.
That's above.
If they're listening, we need them to exit, because we're wanting to wind it. There's some good stories. Carrie Loop is in that cohort. And,
they were cohort
amazing.
1.
They were cohort 1. Michael Walsh took a
Walsh.
chance on us, and we took a chance on Michael Walsh.
And they've raised like 50 mil or more since then?
A lot of money, yes.
Are they one of the darlings that you point to?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it always comes down to the people, Carson. It's the people that, as startup, I always say that the CEO falls under the bus. There's nothing to recover for us. I mean, this is not a business where you can start, selling off the assets. There's nothing left. So, and it's about the character of those people, and it's about who they attract or congregate around them to make things happen. And we put a lot of stock into that, because trust is the number one currency. And you're starting something and you have a vision. People need to follow you and believe in you, and they need to be able to trust you. And so if you can do that, like Michael, for instance, many others as well, then people want to be along for the journey, and they're willing to bet on you. And they are. I mean, it's a risky business. It's super early stage healthcare startups.
Is the greatest thing that could happen for Health Wildcatters, like in the next batch, that everybody just has another 0 in their monthly recurring revenue, or they're just that much more up to the game to go to market? Like it's a more competitive field. Would that be beneficial?
It's a good question, because obviously we are, including myself, investors in each fund, my partners as well. And from the economic equation, you want the 10 best startups you could get your hand on, and you could roll it up from that standpoint on who is the furthest advanced and how can we get the most advanced startups in there. And that'll happen naturally, but there'll be startups that are doing something so amazing that it could be so life-changing for millions of people that we are happy to bet on them, even if they have very little. So it's not necessarily an equation. And really the difference here is that we're dealing with pharma, we're dealing with medical devices, we're dealing with digital health, diagnostics. So it's a very wide lens that we have. And each has their own kind of checkpoints of what they need to accomplish. And so you take a startup that can potentially change the lives of hundreds of millions of people, and we get to help them. And we know they need the help, and we trust each other. It's just incredible. And
they might be pre-revenue and doing great for their stage. So that was a dumb question on my part.
No, that's what I was getting at. They're almost all pre-revenue. So there's really no way to game it. Digital health is the most likely that they have some revenue, but devices and pharma, there's no revenue, and no revenue in some cases for 5 years, the next 5 years.
I'll rephrase. Instead of 600 applications, it'd be great to get 1,000 next time and be able to be more judicious and more choosy, I guess.
Yeah. It becomes ever more work, but that work we love, and we are able and willing to do it. It's obviously an amazing, for us, amazing that these people trust us enough to spend the time to write the application. Now, I will say this, coming from academia, for me, it's extremely important that that application form, those are the questions that your investor is going to ask you. And I don't want you to jump through hoops from me and tell me some esoteric, weird stuff that you have to just type and make up. I want you to, if nothing else, you went through this exercise to apply to us, it was beneficial to you to know those are the questions I'm going to be asked, and not like 3 stunt questions that throw you off.
So applying with Health Wildcatters is in itself a worthwhile exercise, whether you get in or not.
That's my goal, not to torture you with some extra questions that just because we can. And you could argue because we can, right? Like you said, we do get a lot of applications, and I just don't like that. And sometimes when you write academic grants, it feels like it's an attrition process solely because who's willing to spend an inordinate amount of time on something, and when it's really not necessary. So let's have this be a useful exercise. If this is your first brush with an application, these are the questions you're going to be asked, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Beautiful. Hubert with Health Wildcatters, thank you so much. Will you drop your website for us?
Thank you. Yes, of course. It's healthwildcatters.com. So
Healthwildcatters.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you.